God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. God only knows how it's killing you. But there's a kind of love that God only knows. God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. But God only knows the real you. There's a kind of love that God only knows.
Welcome to Season 3, Episode 31 of Your Journey is Not Over. My name is Tanya Pearson Randolph. This is my own personal journey. This is my healing journey, and the expressions and opinions are of my own. I own all the rights to my personal journey, to my healing journey, and to Your Journey is Not Over. Neither of the three are to be copied, used, nor edited in any way without my consent. Well, first off, let me start out today with something that occurred to me as I've been reflecting back on my time in what I call lockdown. Essentially, that's what it is, too. You're on lockdown mentally and physically, locked away from the world in the safety of your home. Your trauma that you've managed to block, to store, to compartmentalize, to outrun your whole life, well, it finally caught up with you. And as I say, in the worst way possible, too. Again, reflecting back on that time, it never occurred to me that, God forbid, my home would have caught on fire. How could I have walked out my front door? It seemed impossible. I couldn't even force myself to go outside. After giving it some thought, I then reached out to my friends, whom I call family, and thought I would run this thought that I had by them, since they were in lockdown once upon a time and now are back to life. It can be done as long as you have faith, you have hope. Never forget that. But I had to ask each one, what if again, God forbid, but how would each one have handled that? Each one told me it never entered their minds. It never occurred to me. It was never a thought. I truly think it was never a thought because mentally, that's how safe we felt. Nothing bad could happen. We had it covered. We had it controlled. We had it protected. We had it locked all the way down. Now, with that thought, we would for sure walk out, run out our front door to escape a fire. There's no thought, without a doubt. Human instincts kick in. Survival kicks in and takes over, right? There would be no thought process to that. Again, human instincts, human nature to flee a burning building. My whole point is that our own minds that keep us stuck. Because if our lives depended on it, we would walk out that door with no thought, no fear, no anxiety. The fear of the fire would cancel out, would overtake the anxiety, the panic of walking out that door. As I say, it truly is mind over matter. And yes, when in lockdown, our minds tell us that we want to be who we were. We want to get back out to the world, to work, to be social, to go out to eat, to shop, to travel, small things even, go to the park, feed the ducks, go swimming, camping, go out for ice cream, movies, a girl's or a guy's night out. Again, what we remember as normal. There is not one person that I've talked to, that I've messaged with, that I've met even, that is in lockdown, that wants to be in that kind of life. Not one person chose that life for themselves. Unfortunately, over the years, their traumas, their pain, their unresolved childhood, adult traumas, and trauma can occur at any age. Their disappointments in life, their setbacks, their PTSD. It is what causes a person to just completely lock down mentally and physically. And if you've never experienced this, I hope you never do and feel blessed because it truly is a paralyzing feeling to want to get back to normal and not knowing how, where to begin, not even realizing what caused you to retreat for safety. What caused it was most likely, in my case, a lot of traumatic things within a 2-year period. It was layer after layer. Looking back 2 years, and that's what I tell people, go back at least 2 years and write a list of all the losses, the setbacks. It could be a divorce, death, loss of a job, being hungry, homeless, history repeating itself as far as past traumas. And you will see with that list how it wasn't just one thing, it was many things. And then the final thing on your list was just what I call the cherry on top to push you into anxiety, into panic attacks, into agoraphobia, depression, which all leads to eventually complete lockdown. I want anyone suffering to know this is for now. This will not be your forever. If I can just open your minds to get you while you're in lockdown, watching the clock tick, the days fade away. Again, if I can get you to begin your very own yellow brick road, your very own healing journey, open your minds to the reflecting. That's the most painful part. I never lie to anyone about that. Because, yes, it is opening that big suitcase full of all our stored traumas, the pain, the secrets, the guilt, the shame, the hurt, the disappointments. You know how life didn't turn out exactly as we planned it out. Most things were out of our control completely, and the setbacks. But by opening that suitcase up and again reflecting, God counts every tear. Please know that. And sadly, we do have to feel it in order to heal it. But the magic is, once you feel it, truly allow yourself feel it. Release all those emotions, those tears, the pain, the sorrow, the guilt and the shame that was never yours to carry. Well, guess what? You are then on your healing journey. Then the understanding your journey. Everything is God's plan completely. And what didn't make sense back then will then begin to make sense to you. Once you get the understanding, you can heal all that trauma, that pain, the hurt, all that weight of that big, heavy suitcase will then begin to get lighter. You essentially are unpacking and discarding all that you have outgrown, what no longer serves you, nor has a place in your life, all that you've overcome and survived. And then the release happens, and you no longer need a suitcase at all, not even a small one. And what I found on my own personal experience throughout my healing journey, I slowly got my self confidence back. I stand in my truth. I know my worth. I know my value. I developed a self love for myself that I never had before. Always before, I self sacrificed myself. I gave all of me, my love, to everyone around me, never thinking of myself. Throughout your healing journey, you will begin to admire who you are, all that you've been through, all that you've overcome and survived. You will then realize the strength, the courage, the perseverance that God gave you to get through each and everything. And as I say, live to tell about it. Love yourself. Love yourself enough to heal and get back into life and enjoy all that life has to offer, all the many good things, big and small, that life has to offer, that God gave us to never take for granted, but to enjoy. It's your journey, and guess what? Your journey is not over, not on my watch. Please start reflecting, understanding, healing, and releasing so that you may carry on with this journey that we all call life. I do not own the rights to the things I chose to share today. Sometimes the bravest thing a person can do is change their mind about the life that they thought they had to live. Choosing a new direction takes real courage. When you feel anxious, please remember God is peace. When you feel alone, remember God is with you. When you feel afraid, remember God is in control. In all things, God is sufficient. I knew what was done to me wasn't right. It shattered me in ways I never deserved. But I also knew this. I couldn't let that pain write the rest of my story. I had a choice: stay buried in what broke me or rise above it. And while none of it was my fault, the healing, that part is mine. Because the ones that caused the trauma, the pain, the damage, will never be the ones to repair it. That's our work: to reclaim, to rebuild, to rise. The day I accepted that, I stopped waiting for closure. I gave it to myself, and that's when I finally felt free. Survival mode kept you safe, but it's keeping you stuck. The only way out of the pain is through it. Let yourself feel it, witness it, honor it. That little girl, little boy inside of you has been waiting for someone to hold space for them. Let it be you. Please never be a prisoner of your past. It was lessons, not a life sentence. This concludes my podcast for today. Please join me Thursday, listen in, and always remember, your journey is not over. God bless.
God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. God only knows how it's killing you. But there's a kind of love that God only knows. God only knows what you've been